Day 2, leftover chicken. So what I'm going to be doing, and this is a low sodium meal as well, and one of the things I learned right away was when my husband got told that he had to eat low sodium, was to start reading labels. And we came home and went through all of our kitchen cupboards. And one of the easy ways to tell if something is safe for him to eat is to look at the labels on the nutrition facts. I don't know, it's not going to, and anyways, to look at the labels on the nutrition facts, and where it says sodium, it's going to give a percentage. And as long as, for us, as long as we stay below 5%, mostly around 3% in the food that we're eating, then his sodium levels stay really low. And there's a lot of different reasons that people are put on sodium or salt restricted diets. Anything from high blood pressure, kidney disease, lung disease, heart disease, diabetes, history of strokes, MS. So, and also just for wanting to be more healthy. So, and also the more processed the food is, the more opportunities there are for it to be high sodium. And with us, my husband's also lactose intolerant, so that's why, otherwise I'd use butter. But, so I do use this particular brand of margarine. It's called Earth Balance for him when I cook. And so I'm just going to start the stove, heat it up. So I'm going to put about a teaspoon, a heaping teaspoon of that just in here for right now. This is about half a cup of my leftover, I think it's the last green onion from my garden, and a small onion from my garden. I'm just going to cook that. Okay, so I'm just going to lightly saute them in the butter, just not to fully cook them, but just so that they are a little bit translucent. Now, whenever you're using mushrooms in cooking, either use dried, but again, read the label on the dried food, or use fresh mushrooms. Canned mushrooms have a horrendous amount of sodium in them. And if anybody finds a brand out there that doesn't, let me know about it, because the ones that we can get here have a lot of sodium. And they're usually made in China, and I like to buy local food, and these are local mushrooms, which we can get year-round. Okay, and this is the leftover chicken. It's about 2 cups, and it's about a cup of fresh mushrooms. And then there's some leftover carrots from last night, so they're partially cooked, and about 2 cups of broccoli. And I also use the broccoli stems. Just helps to make it more frugal. What I do is I peel them, so I take away any of the hard fibrous tissue on the outside of the broccoli, and then I'm left with the inside, and I just cut them up fine, and they are very tasty. Okay, so now that that's heated up, that's cooked enough. I just want them to be translucent. I'm just going to add a tablespoon of flour. And you can use whatever kind of flour you want. I'm just happening to use... So the doctor, the one word of advice he had for us was no Campbell's soup and no pizza. Which, it's not a lot of dietary information to give somebody that's just been told that they have to reduce their sodium. Now this happens to be an organic chicken broth, and it's low sodium. It has 3% in it. Actually, Campbell's does make a low sodium, no salt added chicken broth, and this one's even lower, 2%. So there you go. We can have Campbell's soup. It just can't be the stuff that most people would have out of a can. That stuff is usually way too high, sometimes 20 or 30%. But you can still have the same meals, and it really doesn't take that long. Look at that. Nice sauce. And I'm going to be cooking the casserole right in this pan in the oven, because one of the things with cooking with a nice cast iron pan is that when the food is being cooked in it, it is actually leaching out some of the iron. So if you have somebody who has low iron, this is a great way of supplementing the iron in their diet. And there's some wonderful research out of the University of Guelph from a young physician or doctor who is now trying to combat low iron in third world countries with actually adding a cast iron fish to people's food when they're cooking, and it's working. Now I'm going to add, because my husband has lactose intolerance, I'm adding my little bit of my homemade kefir just to make it thicker. You could use buttermilk and also some 2%, which again is 3%. And a little bit, probably about a tablespoon of my homemade apple cider vinegar. And for the cheese component, I'm just going to turn this off now. When you see a recipe for chicken or turkey divan, it calls for a cup or more of Parmesan cheese. Well, Parmesan cheese is very high in sodium, and I have found that Swiss cheese is, this particular brand of Swiss cheese by Cracker Barrel is only 2%. So I use 2 slices of it to give us that cheesy taste without adding the sodium. And if you ask my husband, he'd say he doesn't like Swiss cheese, but he doesn't know I cook with it. So. And I have actually found a few other cheeses, some younger cheeses, but they're pretty obscure, they're hard to find, and they do have less sodium, usually around 5%, but again, nothing, the Swiss cheese. I did a happy dance when I found that. I read labels like crazy in the stores. As a matter of fact, when my husband was told, you know, he had to reduce the sodium in his diet quite significantly, we made it into a game. And when we went to the grocery store, we started reading labels on things, and oh, look what you can have. Oh, the other thing I was going to add to this is a little bit. If I had Dijon mustard, I'd put it in, but I've got some Keen's, so I'd say that's just a little bit of the end of a teaspoon. That's Keen's hot mustard. And that's one thing, mustard is really great for people on low sodium, because it's usually, this one's French's and it's about 3%. Probably about a teaspoon. And I'm just going to stir that. And then I'm going to serve this over rice. So not only is this a frugal dinner to have, it's the second day for the chicken, and I still have chicken left over, but it's also healthy and delicious and kind of fun to have. So there you go. There's my chicken divan. And again, I'm going to serve it over. Let me know what you think. And if you like it, thumbs up. And please subscribe. And have a great day.